coming up.
So now there are media reports that came out at the beginning of June here that there was 2 secret or unpublished orders in council that were adopted.
You said earlier that there is no secret order in council from the government to your knowledge.
So you know that you haven't looked at them, but you can stay with assurance that that they're not part of this? How is that so, sir?
Please disperse. Nothing to see here, please.
This guy's garage. Like and subscribe.
Now there are media reports that came out at the beginning of June here that there was 2 secret or unpublished orders in council that were adopted during the period of the protests from from January to February. The Privy Council Office has declined to release these orders in council or to make them public, citing a section of the Federal Access to Information Law that allows the government to be able to keep secret documents which they feel is necessary. Now, can you tell us about these orders in council?
Well, I can tell you that my department drafted all of the orders related to the emergency. There was a proclamation, a declaration, an order, and a regulation, and all 4 were made public. There were no secret orders related to the emergency that were taken.
Your department?
From the government.
From all of government?
From all of government.
Okay.
You said earlier that there is no secret order in council from the government to your knowledge in relation to the Emergencies Act. We've seen in the media that there are a number of orders in council, 2 in particular, that were published between the end of January and the end of February, during the month of February. Are you aware of those 2 orders, those 2 secret orders in council? Like you, I read what is in the newspaper. I haven't seen those orders in council, but I can tell you that all of the orders in council related to the Emergencies Act are public. The 2 in question, do you know what they're about? No.
À vous, Monsieur le Président.
Over to you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. Mr. Daigle, are you familiar with the duty of candor as applied in the CSIS Act?
I am very familiar with the duty of candor, yes, and you have my promise to be as candid as I can be here today.
And so in refusing to answer questions as put before you, do you consider that to be in keeping with the duty of candor as defined?
So even the federal court and the Supreme Court of Canada would recognize that solicitor-client information is confidential and privileged. And so by claiming solicitor-client privilege, I was not refusing to answer. I was explaining that there are limits to the information that I can provide.
So in the lead up to the declaration of the emergency, how did your department assess the threat to public safety and security posed by the blockades and the convoy?
So as I explained in my opening remarks, the government looked at the definitions in sections 3, 16, and 17 in of the Emergencies Act. They've summarized in the Section 58 report that they've tabled in Parliament the reasons and the facts that led them to come to the conclusions that there were reasonable grounds to believe that the threshold had been met.
And in this, so would you have been a part of that? You referenced the government, but when you were a part of these discussions, you would have been privy to the nature of these threats, presumably beyond the scope of what has been reported in the summary. Is that correct?
Well, the government summarized that information in that document, so I would refer you to that.
My question through you, Mr. Chair, to Mr. Daigle is, would you have been the recipient of evidentiary, like a body of evidence, which you would have balanced these risks again to check for proportionality?
As I've said, I've participated in discussions that included Commissioner Lucky and others leading up to this, and I have received oral briefings of what was happening on the ground.
And were notes taken of those briefings?
Notes were undoubtedly taken. Notes were taken. I took my own notes.
And would you be willing to share those with the committee?
I think we took note of the committee's request for documents. There are some documents that are being prepared to be shared with the committee in response to the motion. And
some or all, sir?
Well, we'll see. I think that we have to assemble them and go through them and see which ones we can produce without breaching some laws, and by the end of the month, our hope is that we'll be able to pull those together.
Did you conduct other consultations with departments and agencies to seek advice?
As I said, I participated in meetings with client departments throughout this from
Would you be willing to
mid-February.
provide the committee with details of the consultations you had with other departments pertaining to this as well?
So we are, as I said, we're going to be pulling documents together that we can provide, and in order to respond to the motion.
And
that,
which documents
was
could you not
adopted.
provide?
Excuse me?
Which documents are you unwilling to provide or refusing to provide?
Well, as I explained, my minister appeared on the 26th and said that he wouldn't be providing legal opinions. And so those are the instructions I have right now. If the government's going to decide otherwise before the 30th, we'll let you
Notes
know.
on consultations and briefing documents would not be legal opinion necessarily, so would you be willing to provide those?
Well, as I said, I'm working with public safety and other departments to pull those documents together, and we will be providing a set of documents to help the committee with their deliberations.
And will that include security assessments?
I don't know if it's going to provide security assessments. You'll have to ask public safety and other departments responsible for those reviews.
And of course, given the stories, you stated on the record in your opening remarks that there were no special orders in council. You said that emphatically, and then, of course, there was a story of two that were within the dates of the Emergency Act. Is there a possible scenario where secret orders in council wouldn't have come to you, where you wouldn't know about them?
I can guarantee you that there are no secret orders related to the Emergencies Act.
So it's just a coincidence that they happen to fall
It is,
within those?
as far as I can tell, it's a coincidence. I haven't looked at the secret orders, those two orders that are reported, but I can tell you that all of
You
the
haven't
orders
looked at them, but
related
you
to
can
this
state with
have been made
assurance that you don't
public.
know that you know that you haven't looked at them, but you can state with assurance that
Well-
that they're not part of this? How is that so, sir?
Because I've been involved in all of the orders related to the Emergencies Act.
But a secret order in council wouldn't require your involvement.
If there was another order related to the Emergencies Act, whether it's secret or not, I would know about it. And I don't know about a secret order, and therefore, it doesn't exist.
Okay,
C'est terminé. Merci, Monsieur le Président.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
thank you.
This Guy's Garage. Like and subscribe.